And Dan, what you're saying right now is what people have been thinking for a long time. And obviously you have a huge platform. A lot of people follow you. A lot of people love you. And you're taking great personal risks to come out with this. And it's not like you're making money off of this. I mean, I don't know if you want to go into detail about how much money you've lost for telling the truth. But can you talk a little bit about how it's been after you've come out and you've talked about these things?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to get fucked up. Obviously, fucked up every single person that talks about this. But yeah, I mean, they kicked me off.
The thing about Dan is he curses so much. I have a lot of editing to do, but it's all good. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. So, this is just an update because Dan Bilzerian sat down with PBD Podcast not too long ago, and he was saying a lot of things about how he felt about certain things. His choice of words are his choice of words. I may not speak the way he does, but, he speaks how he needs to. That's a man. I can't tell a man how to speak. And so here's an update. We wanted to know what happened afterwards. Like, does the pattern fit after you start talking a certain way? I don't know. We're about to hear it right now.
Illegally kicked me off the board of my company. I mean, it's fucking, crazy amounts of money.
Millions.
Yeah, I mean, I've been supported by, Jewish ex-employees. I mean, it's just been all out.
Twitter talking about they're going to assassinate you, and we got Mossad people looking at you. Like, that's crazy, bro, because... Right, Andrew Tate always says this, and it's so true. Your ability to speak freely is, absolutely contingent upon your influence. And you're a guy that has a lot of influence, so I can imagine why they would want to, shut you down, scare you off, make you not want to say these things, because you've known about this stuff for a while. I'm talking about it, even though it comes at great personal expense.
Rafah was a red line for me. It's like you send refugees over there, you tell them they're going to be safe there, and you bomb the shit out of them. And I think it was like on Memorial Day too, and it was just like, I remember the USS Liberty, and I was a fucking Navy vet, and I was like, I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, fuck these.
Well, okay, so this is going to be a bunch of cursing thereafter, but Dan did go, and he had a conversation with Myron about Myron of Fresh and Fit Podcast about what's been going on since he started talking about certain things. And he, to hear, because I remember that he was saying to Patrick Bet-David that they were trying to get him off of the board of his company, so I didn't think that something like this happened right away. I didn't know what was going on with that, but that was kind of shocking to hear just now that he has now been removing the board of his company. I think that before you get into certain conversations, it's good to set yourself up a certain way. But some people, hey, man, when you get that feeling, you can't shut up. God is good. He'll be okay. So let's go ahead and listen to the rest of what he's saying. By the way, guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and notification bell. Making these videos, I do enjoy talking about the controversial stuff. But we know making these videos come at great risk. So please help a sister out. Thank you.
And then other people have stepped up too, right? I know you had a space with Candace recently, and Andrew and Tristan Tate. What was that like? How'd you guys set that one up?
Well, Candace set it up, and she put on a couple of Jewish guys on there that, I wasn't aware that they were going to be on there. And listen, all respect to Candace. She's been fighting the good fight. I really fucking like her a lot. Yeah. She's super fucking smart, and she's been fucking all into this. I would say the one thing I didn't like about it was there wasn't really like a real expert on our side. I know a little bit.
Well, no, you were cooking, bro. I was in there listening, and you. And then they'll stop you because I think they wanted to be like, oh, this guy's going a little.
Yeah, I mean, there's that.
But I do remember this discussion that they had on Twitter because I was actually listening to the discussion, and it brought about a bunch of topics, questions, a little bit of confusion though. But there were some people who were not happy with the conversation that Candace had on Twitter. And when I say with the conversation, with the space that she held on Twitter, because there are some people who are saying that Candace is basically ripping them off, and I'm not too mad at them for saying that, because there are some people there's a particular person who it's like, Candace, if you're going to talk about this person, and if you're going to go ahead and say the things that they're saying or quote them and kind of take their talking points, I don't understand why you have not had a conversation with this person yet. And I am talking about Nick Fuentes because let's keep it real. Okay, let's everybody calm down, right? We're not going to like the way things, the way people say certain things, okay? Now, but this is new territory that people are trying to figure out. You know, people are kind of just walloping about through, like, I don't even know, like just navigating through, you know, and cutting down some of the leaves, getting them out the way for others. And the first person I think in my lifetime, definitely in my lifetime, I would say, or in my adult time, who really was thrown into this conversation was a 16-year-old Nick Fuentes. Can you imagine being 16, 17, and you're starting to ask these questions, and people are mad at you because how you sound asking them? You're 16, 17, by 18, you've been blacklisted, right? So hard discussions are necessary. And what you have is, you know, this person has cut down a lot of leaves to make it a little easier for somebody else to navigate through, you know, this topic. And then this person, she's acting like, well, you know, it's, oh, well, it is what it is. Now, she was added to the ADL's hit list or something like that. You know, they'll be writing articles about her. They'll constantly write articles about Candace.
I didn't find out about the clean break report last week from the great historian Dave Smith. I've been around for 7 years, and yeah, I've been canceled, and I've been the subject of a lot of controversy, but I've also learned and discerned a lot of things, and I've done the homework, and so I actually happen to know all about that, and I know exactly where it comes from, and I know who's pushing it, and, you know, we're going to unpack that, but, you know, for our purposes now, let's just say it's not true. This lie that occultists took over the religions.
And so this is him talking about Candace kind of muddying the waters of what he's tried, what he's been doing, or what he's been talking about. And I think that this is a necessary discussion. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I see the move ahead, okay? And it's not necessarily about this topic. It is about a true conversation of what's been going on in our government, what's been going on in America, okay, for the longest time, but especially right now. Let us not act like, I mean, I've covered AIPAC on this channel, so I'm not saying anything that's weird. You don't have to agree with a person 100% to listen to what they say, okay, to just listen to them, okay? We do have a problem here. We definitely have a foreign policy issue where, you know, the big bucks talk, but that's your kids going to war and stuff like that. The person who started breaking it down back in the day, they had a hard time breaking it down, and she didn't invite him to the X space. And I don't know why.
It's no longer just an inaccuracy. It's no longer a misquote. It's no longer a kooky theory or speculation like, you know, Ataturk being a crypto Jew. Now it's just an outright red herring. Now it's just outright Pied Piper. People followed you because they thought you're a serious critic of the Jews in Israel, and now you're steering them away from that and saying, no, it's not Jews. No, it's not the Talmudists. No, it's not the Kabbalists. No, it's actually the Frankists. Well, that's false. And we all see what's going on. You know, the implications of it being Jewish people is very troubling and very disturbing. And if you keep pushing on that, it gets you in a lot of trouble, a world of trouble. So now we're seeing the backtrack. Now this is the backtrack. She goes in really hard. Everybody supports her. And now she's walking it back. Well, you see, it's not really the Jews, it's the Frankists. Well, I'm not really anti-Semitic. Well, look, I'm going to host a debate between two Jewish people to showcase how not anti-Semitic I am. And it reinforces this idea that, you know, we need Jews to tell us we're not anti-Semitic. What if Americans want to have a conversation about our rights and our sovereignty without agents of Israel crying about the Holocaust there to debate in our stead,
So the point that he's making again is a valid point. You know, listen, the discussion is the discussion. And if you're walking into it, honey, you better be prepared. I didn't know really, you know, I know she kind of fumbled her way through it, but it's okay to talk about the Israel lobby, I would think. You know, keep it practical for your audience. As a matter of fact, you have such a following. You have a huge following. You would think, and this is why I can't stand people. Okay, let me not get very, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to get too ghetto with it or like personal, right? I know that it is a blessing to get even one person to listen to a little bit of what you're saying. So you have to cherish that and give them premium quality product, right? So even if they only listen to 5 seconds, you need to know that you're giving them something that you really believe in, okay? You have a huge audience, and now you're taking them down this kind of cultist type conversation, and now you want to talk about Michael Jackson's birthday, which shout out to him, it is his birthday, but whatever. And you're just going everywhere when you can really focus people on to the fact that, hey, both sides of our government is not answering to its constituents, right? That we all have more in common than we do differences, right? That the American citizen is coming last. And hey, here's part of why we have a lobby in our government that will do whatever it takes to make Israel come first, and our elected officials are answering to that, right? But instead, you use your platform to balance yourself out. Now you're making, the ADL has me on a hit list. They've already had you on a hit list, Candace. Like, this isn't anything new. And now, personally, I'm starting to think that I don't want anybody to come for her. But I get it. You have advertisers. You're not really on your own 2 feet. It's not easy. It is not easy to be on your own 2 feet. It's not. It's scary. It is so scary, right? But it's worth it when you're doing something for a reason. You have this young man here who's saying what it is for what it is. You don't have to believe everything he says, but I'll tell you one thing, he's actually taking a chance on saying it. And it even goes back to what Dan Bilzerian was saying to Myron. He was in this conversation, and while he respects Candace so much and he made sure to give her props and good, he really, really respects her, right? And that's what's up. But he did feel some type of way, for sure, that there were other people there that he felt like didn't need to be there. Like, we're presenting an issue to the people, but now we're having this kind of pushback. And he's like, I'm not an expert on it. We should have had an expert on there. She should have, and even Nick Fuentes said this, she should have had, if she was going to have an expert, she could have had like a John Mearsheimer, she could have had Ryan Dawson, and he doesn't even get along with Ryan Dawson. Oh, shoot, I'll take that out. So that's the point. Look, there are some times coming ahead, and what I was saying, I'm looking towards the future. There's a discussion that's being had that a lot of people don't want to take a part in. People are kind of moving away, if you will, from that hardcore conservative production of, fight, freedom, water, and just like this whole thing where it's like all about Trump. I have no issues with Trump, and nothing else matters, right? Where people just want to know what's going on. And that's on both sides. People just, the other side obviously is not on Trump. People just want to know what's going on. And they are finding the people who are stepping out and taking the risks. And I respect that. I do. And I respect her for everything that she said. It's just that, like he said, it's the walk back, right? It's the walk back. So, but here you go. Here's the update on Dan Bilzerian. I don't think he gets a chance to get the walk back. We'll see what happens, but, he'll be, he's protected, and God is good. I'm sure he'll be okay. And I'm sure he has his own things that he has to go through and iron out and figure out. But I do respect him for taking a chance